Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you the backend, sort of the layout of the WordPress backend. So if you notice here, this is the dashboard for WordPress, and this is a clean install. There's nothing been done yet. We've just installed it. We haven't changed anything, done anything yet. But if you notice here on the left-hand side, we have what you call our dashboard, which is essentially where we are. Now, on our dashboard, we have a number of different options. One where we can do our home, right, which brings you back to this main page. You also have posts, which are your blog posts. You've got media, which is any media that you upload to your website. So let's say images, videos, content that way. You've got pages where you'd create and store all your web pages. You've got comments. So remember, WordPress is technically a blogging website to a degree, and your web pages can have content for your users. Appearance is an important tab. It's where you can access your different themes and customize your themes. You can also access widgets, which are things that could be in your sidebar. You create menus and different specific theme options. The next one down is plugins, where you install different elements to enhance your user experience. Plugins are critically important in WordPress, and we'll go through that in later tutorials. The next ones are users. So let's just say you've got a blog and you've got people adding content or commenting. This is where you would actually log all your different users. Tools, essentially, you have different ways to import your new content, export content, and different available tools connected to your actual theme itself. And the last one would be your settings tab, which is definitely an important tab. And we're going to look at the settings tab for the last part of this tutorial. So if I go to the settings tab and click general, I can see the general information about my blog. Now, if you notice here, whether you use XAMPP or Bitnami, you always are asked to choose a site title. So mine says Matthew's blog. But just for example of changing things here, I'm going to change it to Comp5062 because this is a web design for optimization class. And I'm going to go web design for optimization. Now, you can change this to whatever you want, but it's important to have an idea what your site title should be. It should be connected to your website, obviously. Now, below this here, we're not going to worry about the site address, your email address. Sometimes you may put in the wrong email address or something you want to change. You can always change it here. There's no problem with that. We're going to leave this as unchecked as anyone can register. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to leave the default role as subscriber. If you notice here, there are 5 different roles. There's administrator, editor, author, contributor, subscriber. Subscriber is the most basic role, and administrator is the most advanced role. Now, you as the admin obviously have the administrator role. You can do anything. You got to think, if you're going to have users creating content or being a part of your website, you want to make sure you don't give them too much power. And essentially, this is where you can choose the default role that if someone creates a user account, what they'll be defined as. So site language, we're going to leave it as US. And time zone, I live in the Eastern zone, which is close to Toronto. So I'm going to type in TOR and click Toronto. And then also for the date formatting, I'm going to leave it exactly the way it is. It looks really good. And I'm going to hit Save Changes. So that is the basic layout of the dashboard. The one piece we haven't talked about yet, which is general piece here. You're welcomed with this every single time you come into WordPress. And essentially you see different options here, different toggles. They're just welcome menus, basically ways that WordPress is helping you speed things up on your website. For me, I'm just going to hit dismiss on these because I don't want to see them anymore. And they should come up every time I log back in. Now, if you notice here, we have different widgets or different quick dashboard options. Now, if you notice here on the add a glance option, I've got this little arrow. I can click that arrow and it will sort of remove, or not remove, it will shrink or minimize that specific function. I can also have, I have 2 more dotted boxes. Well, I can move different functions or different widgets into those areas. And all it's designed to do is basically help you speed up your process in WordPress. Now, if you notice here, I have 4 different ones open. If I change the size of my screen, they will readjust. Now, if you notice here, I only have 2 main columns now versus 4 when I was on my larger screen. So really, it depends on the screen size. Now, there are 4 different things you can see here being sort of widgets, let's say. Quick options. If you click the screen options button here, the welcome menu and the new editor are the ones that I closed off. So if you notice here, if I turn them back on, they show back up. If I dismiss them, they'll be unchecked. So really it comes down to what you want to be welcomed with and what you want to see when you log into WordPress. So that's a little bit about the dashboard and the layout of WordPress, sort of the functionality and how it all works. Hopefully you've learned a couple new things, and yeah, I'll see you in the next tutorial.